We often hear the phrase, your thoughts create your reality, almost, like a mantra for manifestation or mindset work. But what does that really mean when life falls apart? Because honestly, when everything feels like everything is against us, we don't care about our thoughts. We are kind of into that automated mode that somehow we have to fix it. Somehow we have to fix it. When we are grieving, when we are burned out, or we are just trying to get through the day. How does it happen? So in order to explore this, today on this episode of the Cosmic Confluence, listeners, we are going to delve into that intersection between thought and experience. How our inner narratives shape when we see, attract, and even tolerate in life. And joining me is Andrew Wilson. He's a transformation coach, NLP practitioner, and also QHHT facilitator, who's lived this truth from both the sides, the chaos of burnout and the calm of breakthrough. Now, listeners, let me tell you, Andrew doesn't just talk about healing. He helps people feel it. And today we are peeling back the layers of what it really means to think your way into a new reality, or maybe to feel your way there first. So with that, Andrew, welcome to the show, and as always, it is really, really an honor to have you here with us.
Well, it's an honor to be on our shows, and I always enjoy our conversations.
Absolutely, same here, Andrew. And this is I think it is such a profound topic, very, very interesting, because there's science, there's psychology, there's all the factors are kind of, because our thoughts, it's like an internal cosmos within us which is there. And with that, let's start to first understand, like, do our thoughts, do you believe that our thoughts literally create our reality, or do they just influence how we perceive everything?
Well, I think it's both. It goes both ways. It's how you pursue. Well, what you resist, you persist, or what you resist, you persist. So it's like your reflection can create the reality around you. The one thing I've learned on the journey and reading a lot of books. Actually, I was just reading a book recently. It's called The Enlightened Gardener by Sydney Banks, and this gentleman talks about how our negative thoughts is like psychological suicide, and that is like the key to like illness right there. Is our negative thoughts basically like paralyze us and they make us ill. And so if you're thinking negatively all the time, then yeah, of course that's going to be your reality, because that's the vision, that's your fear, that's your false evidence appearing real, and it's taking over you, because our thoughts are something you got to be mindful of, because it can just like that take over you in a positive way, but also in a negative way. I mean, and it's more about like imagination. It's like, if you keep imagining something, it will come to truth. It'll come to reality. I mean, look at the person that created the first light bulb. He had to do it like 10,000 times. But where did the idea come from for the idea to make the light bulb? So you think about ideas that just pop into our head randomly, and it's whether or not we act on them. But there's also ideas that we create because a person might have rubbed us the wrong way, or we were in a relationship and it ended abruptly and we were angry with that person. That's creating our reality now. So the next person, it's wanting to like have like the perfect woman or the perfect man, because you see all the flaws in a person, but really you're not looking within yourself to see the flaws are within you, and that you need to do the work within yourself. The best thing that you can do is work on yourself before you work, like want to get with someone, or even work on yourself. So when you go to a job and you're surrounded by people who are toxic, you can put that boundary up, and like you can block that reality from entering your reality, and you can put healthy boundaries down. But we don't know how to do that, because again, we don't do the inner work. Until you do the inner work, like, you're not going to be satisfied. You're not going to be happy. You're going to play the victim of your own story over and over again until your body like either reminds you by making you ill or breaking your bones. Take your pick. Like, eventually it's going to tell you that you need to slow down and relax. And sometimes it'll give us something we don't want. And that's the idea that I've like learned. Like, my body was making me ill for a reason because I wasn't listening to it. But if you're constantly in that victim mindset, guess what? You're always going to be the victim. So yeah, of course it's going to create the reality, victim reality, that everyone is out to get me. But when you learn to like forgive and you let go, wow, that reality changes so quickly.
It does. And I think there's so many meanings here. Like, I can take out of how our thoughts create our reality. It can have a positive meaning, it can have a negative meaning. And it can also, I think, gives that possibility that with our thoughts and imagination, we can definitely create a different, reality for us. At least, we can work on our perception, how we perceive everything, even if it's a challenge for us, or even if it's a completely new situation, which is kind of making us feeling frustrated or helpless. And also at the same time, I think, talking more on the negative side, I think right now it's very easy, for us, because we have so much of information, it's an information dump. We have so many sources, we have so many resources to look out for. But I think this also gives us the time to think that, how we can create those boundaries, as you perfectly mentioned. Even if the people around us are toxic, or maybe whatever we are seeing or whatever it's happening, whatever we are being told, it's kind of negatively affecting our thoughts. And we are kind of getting consumed into that rabbit hole.
Absolutely. I mean, we influence each other. Like, the way we think can influence another. Like, if you look at how like manifestation, how the law of attraction works, if we were actually all on the same energetic wavelength, then we would manifest the right things, not the wrong things. I mean, you look at Neville Goddard, who like talked about this book, The Power of Awareness, and how our thoughts create desire, they create our reality. And that if you're like around someone and you're constantly thinking about this person in a negative way, well, something's going to either happen to that person, or it's just going to put that image in your head to permanently stay there, instead of like wanting to celebrate people, instead of getting jealous and envy of it. Why are you jealous and envy of it to begin with? These are the questions you should be asking yourself. But we don't often ask ourselves any questions. Instead, we react. And then we don't think about the consequences afterwards. We just constantly react, and we think that the person is in the wrong and I'm always in the right. If you're going to guide a right, then that's your choice. That's your wish. But I mean, wouldn't you rather want to be wealthy, healthy, and alive than being secluded to something that like you want to die right? It's the ego is always going to win. Either way, you want to like improve yourself, or you can stay the same. And I did it for 30-some years, and it did no good for me. Like, it deteriorated my health. It showed me that I was becoming something that I never thought I would become. And I was always blaming people for my insecurities. I was always blaming people for my trauma. But I was the one who created it. I created the ideas in my head that these people were out to get me, and then I had to make up all these stories, and I had to like, basically I was trying to fit in, and I was fitting in for all the wrong reasons. Like, I wasn't trying to be a good person. I was trying to be sneaky. I was trying to be conniving, lying, like all those things, and just to get popular, just to want to fit in. And then I got bullied so much because I tried to go that route, and I understand why, is because I was doing it wrong. Like, I wasn't actually listening to people. I wasn't actually communicating with people. I was just telling lies, or I was trying to manipulate the situation. And the universe was like, nope, we're going to push it right back on you, because what you're trying to do to them is basically what you're getting done to you. And I thought for years I was the victim, and I was the one that was, and then I realized, I'm like, holy moly, like I was mirroring. They were projecting. Everything I did projected right back at me. So everything positive you do in life projects right back to you. So when you do negative, of course, it's going to project right back at you, because it's not karma. It's like your mirror, and your reflection is showing in that person. So it's coming right back at you. So for those out there listening, if you're, say, having an argument with someone, and you got to ask yourself the question, why are you arguing with this person to begin with? What created this argument? Something within yourself. But you don't think about it because your ego is taken over and it's in fight mode. And there's no like talking your ego out of it. Just the ego takes over right away. And it's only doing it to protect you. But when you become aware of why you're being this way, then you start to have an aha moment. It's like, oh, I'm the problem. It's not them, it's me.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Absolutely. And, specifically when you give the example of argument, I think it's very easy to for ego or anger to kind of win over us or conquer over us. And people often say that whatever say when you are angry, it doesn't mean anything, because your emotions are taking over you. But I think when it comes from the point of awareness that, oh my God, this entire argument, maybe that person is not trying to hurt me. Maybe something, I misread it or they misread it. So let me just work on it to resolve it, instead of, just kind of contemplating and thinking multiple times throughout the day. Why did he do that to me? Why did she do that to me? Why did she, what did she tell me? She's bad, or, she's doing that very intentionally. So I think we kind of get into that train of thoughts. It kind of eats us.
Oh yeah, your thoughts can eat you alive, and that's the one thing we didn't realize. And like I said, after reading that book, The Enlightened Gardener, and this one fella talking about negative beliefs and negative thoughts being psychological suicide. Well, there's the leading cause of mental health right there, the negative thoughts, and that's what causes the psychological suicide, for the mind to become easily manipulated and depressed, and say like all the brain or the mental health that we're dealing with, it's our own negative thoughts. And when we become aware of those negative thoughts, you don't need therapy. Nobody needs therapy. I'll tell you this right now, because you are literally reliving those thoughts over and over and over again. The more you talk about it, the best way to like remove anything is just to forgive and let it go, and work on yourself, and work on the parts that don't align and don't agree with you. Like we do an exercise where there's part of you that wants to be successful and there's part of you that doesn't want to be successful. When you bring the two parts together, it aligns, and it realizes, oh, this is really within me. It's nothing to do with the people outside of me. It's to do with the people. It's to do with what's going on in me. And I don't need a therapist to tell me this. And I tried to go to therapy before, but I couldn't, because I was exhausted after I left one session. And I was like, well, why is this? Like, why? And like, I've even talked to people that have gone through therapy for 30 years. That 30 years could have been healed in, say, one session of timeline therapy or one session of quantum healing, instead of having to go and relive it over and over and over again. And the biggest thing is there's no motivation for people to actually do the inner work. They want to diagnose you. They want to tell you there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of you. Each and every one of you, there's nothing wrong with you. I tell you this right now. The only thing that you need to understand is just you. And when you understand you, there's nothing that anybody can do to you, because if it's bothering you to begin with, it's bothering you for a reason.
Mm-hmm. But would you say the same, because there can be many reasons. It can be social conditioning, or it can be related to your family, or, the surroundings you have grown in, the situation you have, sometimes childhood abuse and trauma. And, it happens a lot that, many times, because there's so much of stigma and shame, people won't even share that. And if someone wouldn't know, then maybe, somebody who is suffering through it or going through it, they won't even be aware that, instead of talk therapy or, giving maybe a decade or, almost my entire life spending in, just through therapy, I may have the option to go for timeline or any other therapy or healing session. So what would you say for this?
I would just say, like, one thing with timeline therapy is you don't have to relive it. We take you to a timeline and you go above it, and you don't even see the timeline. And the entire time you're in the timeline, you're motivating yourself, you're empowering yourself from all the thoughts that you were told or the thoughts that you came up with. You're rewiring it into a loving and positive way. And you're letting those thoughts go. Now, don't get me wrong, those thoughts could arise again because our mind and our heart do to them. But the idea is for you to, like, remove it without talking about it. Just go to the emotion or go to the event. We fly up as high as we can above it so you don't even see the event. And the entire time you're just floating, complimenting yourself, motivating yourself, empowering yourself. And then we bring you right back to the room and we ask if it's there. And if it isn't, then if it is, then we go back. If it isn't, then that's it. That's all it is. And then with quantum healing, that's basically like, if people want to know about past lives, if you want to know about your past lives, if you want to talk to your subconscious, well, come for a quantum healing session, because that it will get you a past life if you want. But now don't get carried away, because you also have to, the control aspect, we all want to control too. And that's the thing with hypnotherapy is you're in control, but you have to follow instructions. But you also at the same time have to trust. And a lot of us have a trouble with trusting is because of what you were saying with the past child trauma and everything. But wouldn't it be a wonderful way just to, like, heal just by speaking to yourself in a manner that you never thought you could speak to, like telling yourself you're beautiful, telling yourself you're loved, empowered, invincible, all these things, like, just to uplift you and regenerate you and bring you back to you.
Exactly. Why otherwise it would be just mirroring, what others have been doing to us. We are the same to ourselves. Yeah, that makes sense. You mentioned about quantum healing, and I think I haven't come across conversations discussing around quantum healing. Maybe somatic healing, or maybe healing through certain channels and modalities. But what exactly is this quantum healing, Andrew? I mean, how does exactly it work?
So basically you're going to different timelines that your soul has been at, and instead of, like, actually, like, going above them, you're in the event. You are there, you are witnessing every single thing that has happened to you in your past life, in that past life. So, and you go through it to understand, like, okay, where did this come from? Was this passed down genealogically, or was this in a past life? And if it was in a past life, it followed you to this life. Now, it could be a form of karma or something. So if you've done, like, say you got injured and you don't know why you got injured, it could be a form of karma that you've done in a past life. Because I know myself, I don't mind sharing this, and people can take it how they want, but in my past life, I was a soldier of war, and I was supposed to learn compassion and love for each and every person. Instead, I learned the total opposite. I learned to be narcissistic. I learned to be self-absorbed. I learned to gaslight. These are the things that I had done to me when I was a soldier of war. And I was supposed to not mirror those emotions, but I did mirror those emotions, and it followed me to this life. And I mirrored exactly what I wasn't supposed to instead of what I'm doing now. But I didn't know that until I did a quantum healing session.
Wow. That really sounds fascinating, Andrew. That really sounds, and especially around past lives, I mean, there has been a lot of skepticism. I mean to say that, people would say that it is not scientifically validated, or there is no existence of it. So in that case, I mean, how would you because it's kind of the different timelines that we are talking. That is the foundation of quantum healing. So in that case, how would you answer to those skeptics?
I would say, I used to stay in the box. So the box is like the reality we all live in. If you want to stay in that box, that's your free will, that's your choice. But if you want to expand your horizons and actually see what the body is capable of and what we've actually gone through in past lives, because history does repeat itself for a reason, because we repeat it over and over again, because we don't stop until we're done. And like, you look at these doctors, like, I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, like, he is living proof that quantum physics are legit. Like, this man broke his spine or ruptured his spine, I can't remember, but he literally used his mind to rebuild his spine. He was going to get a surgery done, but he used his mind to like rebuild his spine. And then you talk about this other guy who's in a terrible plane crash, and he wrote with his teeth on the paper, "I will walk out by Christmas." And he walked out by Christmas. It's like, these miracles don't happen just by chance. These are like you understanding that you can shift, you can tap into like different versions of yourself, because there are so many different versions of you out there that you can tap into. This is how the law of attraction works. This is how manifestation works. That you think like people winning the lottery is like luck. No, it's because someone truly wanted to win the lottery bad enough. They brought it into their reality and they won. It's just the same with illness. It's the same with disease. People could heal themselves just by how they talk to themselves, just by how they watch their thoughts. And if their thoughts become, say, negative or something, then you just pause and you stop and say, okay, no, I don't want that thought. And it's like a water or like a river. You just let that thought float down the river and not even think about it, not even worry about it. Delete, distort, and generalize that thought away. And then you keep all the good thoughts that you want to have. And those are the thoughts you focus on. So for the skeptics out there, it's like, it's free will. That's the whole idea. And if you want to know more about it, just read some of Dolores Cannon's books. And I mean, she was able to do so many amazing things and help so many people to get over their illnesses. Like this one woman, she was bedridden. She was in palliative care. And now she's one of the instructors at the school that Dolores taught at. Like, you just can't. And then with my client, I had a client who had breast cancer, and we went through the session and she did everything she was supposed to. Like, I just facilitated, you do all the work, and she did it. And 4 months later, she no longer has cancer. I'm like, that is unexplainable. That's miracles. But it's how we talk to our bodies and how we think. And that's really how it comes down to. If you can figure out that you are the problem, and you can understand that you can heal yourself with the right amount of the right thoughts, the right words, wouldn't you rather do that than stay in a box and stay locked up in, or being on pills, or going to see a doctor that's going to prescribe you more pills? It's like, at the end of the day, I mean, it's your choice. That's why they call it free will. But I mean, when you have so many healing modalities out there, you got breath work, you got shamanism, you've got plant medicine. Like, there's just so many other alternatives, but the choice is yours. At the end of the day, it's always the choice is yours. So for those skeptics out there, you choose the reality you want to live in. I like the reality I'm in, and it's okay. You don't have to agree with everything. We're put on this earth not to agree with one another. We're to accept each other.
I agree. That's really powerful. That's a really powerful answer, Andrew. And another kind of a nuanced thought. Some say that our thoughts create reality, okay, but then I've also heard many people saying that, your environment shapes your thoughts. I mean, if you mix with wrong people, you'll have obviously negative thoughts, and that's how kind of your character will build in. So, Andrew, which truly comes first? Does mind come first or matter come first?
mind comes first and matter comes second, because if you're mind and you are okay with yourself, if you're around those toxic people, then you understand that if there's something not in you that's toxic, then you can get through any environment. Now, you can put up healthy boundaries too and to block that environment. But at the same time too, if you see someone in a different set of eyes, if you see someone with rose-colored glasses, then your reality completely shifts, and you see them as not an enemy, but you see them as hurting. You see them as their own victim because they are in victim mode. And it's not by it's by their choice, but instead of getting angry, you feel empathetic for this person instead, and you want to help this person, and you wish better thoughts for them. You visualize that they're succeeding in life, because that's the reality of it. That's what you want to see. So if you're around people who are toxic, the one thing I've learned to do being around a lot of toxicity is see the person as a different version of themselves. And you will be amazed at how much that influences their own thoughts, because like I said, we are all energetically connected and we are all on the same brain wavelengths. So we can all influence one another, but we can also influence goodness in other people too. If we see them as a different person, they will have like an aha moment. Or if you start to pay attention to when you come and interact with people, what they're teaching you instead of what they're doing to you, life starts to make more sense, and you start to understand, okay, yes, I am the problem. I need to fix what's going on within me and not project my feelings onto the next person.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Superb. And Andrew, if listeners, they would like to connect with you, if they would like to share their thoughts, experiences after this conversation, and also listen to your podcast and check out all the resources, what would be the best way?
I'd say go on my Instagram page. I got all my websites. I got my website there. I got my podcast. I got my book there. Yeah, just click on it and connect with me. Don't be a stranger. I'm not, so.
Wonderful, wonderful listeners. I'll have all the details and links in the show notes. And I think today's conversation is really, really eye-opening for us. Listeners, it's like a mirror for us, because it reminds us that thoughts are like seeds, but the soil matters too. We can plant all the affirmations in the world, but if the ground beneath is hard with pain or fear, nothing truly grows. Nothing. And Andrew, thank you so much. I think what you share today, it's not just thinking differently, but I think it's about being differently.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just like I said, just you do the work within yourself and just continue each day to understand that you're never going to stop growing. You're always going to have lessons in life, and that might steer you down some interesting circumstances, but there's a reason that they were put in place, because you created it long ever ago just by your thoughts, and you didn't even realize it until it happens in future events.
Yeah. Well, it may sound a bit overwhelming, but I think it really, really empowers us. I mean, it gives us that need to have agency and control, and accepting the possibility that we do have that control within us. We do have that. We are powerful. It's kind of empowering, as I said. So yeah, thank you for that, Andrew.
Welcome. Yeah, it was great being here as always, Santa.
Yeah, absolutely. So listeners, maybe just a quick action after this. Maybe you can take a moment to sit with one thought that's been running your life, and maybe ask it gently, what are you trying to protect me from? And that's where the transformation begins, not in control, but in curiosity. So until then, this has been Cosmic Confluence. I'm your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.